All right, guys. Let's talk about Jay Leno. All these people supporting him. You guys are like retards, and just a bunch of hypocrites. All right. Here's the thing. For all you guys supporting him, let's say he didn't make a joke about, Asians, Koreans eating dogs. All right. On an offensive scale, of positive stereotypes, neutral stereotypes, and negative stereotypes. And these comedians, Jay Leno, a lot of these comedians, most of these comedians, all right, will look at that scale of positive stereotypes, neutral stereotypes, and negative stereotypes, and they'll do their jokes depending on where that joke ends up on that stereotypes and who they're doing it to. So an equivalent to that stereotype is if he would have said, man, those Africans eating monkey meat, or man, those Africans getting AIDS from eating monkey meat, or man, those Africans got like 70 IQ. All right, that's the scale of where that joke is. Now, if he made that joke, all right, a similar joke, not a similar joke, but on the same level, against Jews, against blacks, if he said, man, those Jews, what do they do with the foreskins with the little, when they cut off the foreskins, they make matzo ball soup out of it, whatever. He would be anti-Semitic, all right? If he did an equivalent joke surrounding gays and Jews, no. Well, yeah, gays. But if he did that equivalent joke, and that joke was geared towards Jews or blacks, he would be anti-Semitic, and he would be racist. All right, this is the truth. Okay, anybody who supports Jay Leno on this, you are a bunch of hypocrites. All right, if he had made that joke against Jews or blacks, I'm almost positive everybody who supports Jay Leno right now would at least, say that's over the line. That's over the line. That's racist. That's anti-Semitic. That goes way below the belt. You guys would say that. Don't lie. All right, because every one of you who consider yourselves non-PC, non-social justice warrior, who hate that whole social justice warrior movement, every one of you know where the boundaries are. You know where the boundaries are. Okay? Every one of these celebrities who think they're pushing barriers, they know where the boundaries are. They know which jokes that they could get away with, depending on which group, and which jokes that they can't get away with. So the jokes that they can't get away with, they don't do. But they'll do the jokes against the groups that they could get away with. And then the negative stereotypes, okay? I'm not talking about positive or neutral stereotypes, because if you guys have watched my videos, positive stereotypes aren't really racist. I mean, they're like compliments, all right? Positive stereotypes are not racist. They're compliments. Neutral stereotypes are not racist. They might be racial in nature, but it's not offensive, all right? The group that joke's made towards aren't going, yo, this guy better watch his shit, all right? That's wrong. That's below the belt, etc., etc. All right? So basically, all you idiots, all you assholes, all you dumb nuts, retards, all right, who supports Jay Leno on this, you guys are a bunch of little hypocrite, selectively racist pieces of garbage. You guys been that way for the last 20 years or so, where this selective racism, has been created. It is now, or was, the norm. Up until maybe 2 or 3 years ago, that was the norm. Selective racism. That's what old school racism has morphed into. All right? You guys who support these comedians like that dude who got fired from Saturday Night Live for making those jokes against Asian Americans, he actually got fired because they found out they made jokes against, Jews and blacks too. All right, but he was fired because he made jokes about Jews, because it was it was a week after that info came out, and he was still hired by SNL up until they found out that they made the jokes about the Jews. Then he got fired. Apparently, he didn't know that rule that you don't make jokes about Jews in Hollywood. Not the racist kind, not the negative kind. You can make the positive ones, like, oh, these Jews are so rich. Oh, these Jews are so good with money. But you can't make those negative jokes about, oh, those Jews are a bunch of leeching bastard vampires, all right? They're penny pinching. You could throw a couple of pennies out and you have 5 Jews. Those kind of jokes won't fly. Those are negative jokes, all right? You know, South Park doesn't do those kind of jokes. Family Guy doesn't do those kind of jokes. Nobody does those kind of jokes. But they'll do those kind of jokes against Asian Americans. They'll do those kind of jokes against Latino Americans. They'll do those kinds of jokes against any group that they feel that they can get away with. All right? And that in of itself is just cowardly. Just cowardly. All right? Get it through your heads, you dumb effing retards. Get it through your head. You guys are a bunch of cowards. Selectively racist cowards. All right? If Jay Leno, and he does this, Jay Leno will filter himself out on what jokes he can make about black people, on what jokes he can make about Jews, on what jokes he can make about Asian Americans, Asian people, all right? He has no filter when it comes to Asian Americans, Latino Americans, anybody, any group, any group that he can get away with. He has no filters. But when it comes to Jews and blacks, this guy filters his jokes, all right? He'll filter his jokes. There will be no negative stereotypes, no negative racist jokes against blacks or Jews. He'll do neutral stereotypes against blacks or Jews. He'll do positive stereotypes. All right? That's how it works in Hollywood. So, thank goodness for social media. All right? Thank goodness for social media. They are now your conscience. They're now the conscience of Hollywood. Because over the last 20 years, Hollywood did not have a conscience when it related to certain groups of people. They had a conscience when it related to blacks and Jews because there were consequences. Civil rights organizations, the Jews who control the media, Farrakhan, etc., NAACP, Jesse Jackson, etc., etc., etc. Black people over the last 20 years have gone where they've gone because of how, because of how they promote their race through the media. Not because of any other reason. All right? The media matters. Media matters. It matters because it brainwashes the population. It controls the population. It influences how the population thinks. All right? So if you guys think that you guys can get away with making these kind of jokes, and it is not just a joke, all right? It is a message that gets sent out. Here's the thing about free speech, all right? When you talk amongst like 5 people, 5 of your friends, you make a joke amongst 5 of your friends, it's a joke amongst 5 of your friends. If you're a celebrity and you make a joke, that joke goes to millions and millions and millions, sometimes billions of people. All right? That is not just free speech. All right? That is not just free speech. At that point, you are influencing society. You are influencing people. It's not just your opinion at that point. It is not your opinion at that point. All right, you are now in a realm of conditioning. It's not just a matter of free speech. That's why it matters. I mean, think about that. How much are you gonna influence people when you have 5 people around you and you make a negative joke about a certain group, right? If you're a famous person and you make that same joke and it gets out to the public with millions of people that you can influence, it's no longer just a matter of free speech. It is not just a matter of an opinion. You are actually sending a message out to people at that point about about how people should treat other people. All right, and the way that this comes off with Jay Leno, he should know better. All right, the guy should know better. But apparently from a lot of these videos that I've watched, these comments that I've seen about this particular subject matter, you guys don't know any better. You guys are a group of retards. Okay, the whole population is just retarded. I mean, think about that. All right, you guys need to think before you guys type. You guys need to think before you guys post. All right, you guys can't have this system where certain groups get treated better than others, where certain groups are protected against a certain kind of speech versus others. Okay, that cannot happen. Should never have been able to exist. Should not exist. Should not happen.